A train departs at noon, traveling at a speed of 64 kilometers per hour. A car leaves the same station half an hour later to overtake the train, traveling on a road parallel to the track. If the car's speed is 96 kilometers per hour, at what distance from the station will it overtake the train? We're talking about speeds and distances, so I'm going to start by making a table. We're going to use the fact that rate times time is the distance traveled. On this problem, the distances are given in kilometers, the times are in terms of hours, and the rate is kilometers per hour. So the two different vehicles that we have are the car and the train. So the rate of the car is 96 kilometers per hour. So 96, the units are correct, kilometers per hour. The train has a rate of 64 kilometers per hour. The time we don't know. We know that they left at noon, or the train left at noon, so the number of hours it's been traveling is unknown. Now the car left half an hour later, so the total time the car has been traveling is a half an hour less. So t, however long the train has been moving, minus 1/2 an hour. So now rate times time is distance, so the distance for the car is 96 times t minus 1/2, and the distance for the train is 64 times t. Now, reading into the question, at what distance from the station will the car overtake the train? To overtake means it's going to catch up, so that tells us that the two distances must be equal. So that means the distance the car travels, which is 96 t minus 1/2, has to be the same as the distance that the train traveled, 64 t. Now we'll distribute through. So 96 times t is 96t. 96 times 1/2 is 48. This equals 64t. Next up, I'm going to subtract 96t from both sides of the equation. So on the left-hand side, these cancel, and we've got negative 48. On the right-hand side, we subtract these out. We've got negative 32t. And we divide both sides by negative 32. So we've got t equals 3/2, or 1.5. So this tells us the time it takes after the time from noon, because that's when the train left. So that says at 1:30 is when the car overtakes the train. However, this is not what the question asks for. They say, at what distance from the station will it overtake the train? We found the time, we've got to find the distance. So we're going to plug this t value into either one of these two distances. If we want to be safe, we'll plug it in both. So let's check the distance that the car had traveled. So this is 96 times our t value, which is 1.5, minus 1/2. So this is 96 times 1, which is 96 kilometers. Let's make sure that the train is the same distance. So the distance that the train traveled is 64 times t. Our t value is 1.5. 64 times 1.5 is also 96 kilometers.